In 1861, the Civil War began when Abraham Lincoln went to war with the southern states that seceded from the Union.
Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland.
Abraham Lincoln was born in a log cabin in Hardin County, Kentucky on February 12, 1809. Abraham Lincoln's parents were Thomas Lincoln and Nancy Hanks Lincoln. His dad was a pioneer who was well respected in the community. Abraham had an older sister named Sarah and a younger brother, Thomas, who died as a baby. When Abraham was 9 years old, his mother died of milk sickness at the age of 34. Milk sickness was caused by drinking milk from a cow that had eaten a poisonous plant called white snakeroot. This killed thousands of pioneers during the 1800s. About a year later, Abraham's father remarried to Sarah Bush Johnson, who was a widow and had 3 children of her own. The Lincoln family was forced to move from Abraham's birthplace of Kentucky to Perry County, Indiana, because of a land dispute. The family squatted on a public land and lived in a simple shelter. They hunted game and farmed on a small piece of land. Abraham's father was eventually able to buy the land. As a boy, Abraham did not like the hard work of frontier life. His neighbors and his family called him lazy for spending his time reading, scribbling, and writing poetry. He only had a small amount of education from traveling teachers, but loved to read. There were not many books in the Indiana frontier, so he would have to walk for miles to borrow books to read. Some of the books he read were the King James Bible, Aesop's Fables, and Robinson Crusoe. When he was a teenager, he finally took responsibility for his chores and gave his dad any money that he earned from splitting wood, as was customary at the time. When Lincoln was in his 20s, he had moved to New Salem, Illinois, served as a captain in the Illinois militia during the Black Hawk War, and became popular in the town as a talented storyteller. He ran for the Illinois General Assembly and lost. After the election, he became New Salem's postmaster and later became the county surveyor. He ran for General Assembly again and won. He married Mary Todd and had 4 children, but only one of them lived to be an adult. He taught himself law and began to practice law with his wife's cousin in Springfield, Illinois. He became a successful lawyer and politician serving in the Illinois House of Representatives, the U.S. House of Representatives, and eventually became the 13th president in 1860. Before he was sworn in as president, the nation had already divided because of 7 southern states had just seceded. South Carolina was the first state to secede because they were protesting the Tariff of 1828, which was designed to protect industry in the northern United States by taxing imports by 38%, which hurt the southern states, especially with their trade with England. The states that had seceded were South Carolina, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas. They created their own government and became the Confederate States of America. After South Carolina seceded, there were still U.S. Army troops at Fort Sumter in the Charleston Harbor. General Beauregard, the first general of the armed forces of the Confederacy, told the Union soldiers to leave Fort Sumter, or he would force them out. A few days later, Confederate soldiers fired cannons at the fort. Even though no soldiers were killed, the Union forces surrendered, and the Civil War was started. Abraham Lincoln responded to the crisis by using powers that no other president had ever used. He took $2 million from the Treasury to use for war materials without permission from Congress. He called for over 75,000 volunteers in the military service without a declaration of war. And he suspended the writ of habeas corpus so he could arrest and imprison anyone without a warrant. After Lincoln did this, Virginia, Arkansas, Tennessee, and North Carolina joined the Confederacy. From here on out, the Civil War was the free states that made up the Union against the slave states that made up the Confederacy. On January 1st, 1863, Lincoln delivered the Emancipation Proclamation, reshaping the cause of the Civil War from saving the Union to abolishing slavery. I hope you've enjoyed these facts about Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War. Click over here, or something over here, to go to the playlist of all the other videos in this series. Click over here to subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye! My infinite hat.